Go.
All right, so we're back. We've taken the top box off. That's the honey super. And remember, we have 1, 2, 3 brood chambers, queen extruder, and another honey super. And we do have one on top that they're drawing the comb out and filling with honey. But none of it's capped. So remember, they work from basically the middle to the end. So we'll pull an end frame here just to see. Because once they get it 2/3 or 3/4 of the way filled, you add that next box. And you can see that this one here on the end, which would be one of the last ones that they do, isn't entirely capped, but the honey is filled. You can see they've drawn the comb out. The honey is in the comb, and now they'll finish that. They'll get the moisture content correct to about 17%, and then once it's correct, they'll cap it. So we'll work our way in a couple of frames just to see. But we'd like that to get a little bit more done so that we can get about 40 pounds of honey out of here. So we'll work in a few frames just to see if we can get one and show you what a capped frame looks like.
This one looks capped.
And this frame is very heavy. So you can see here that that white stuff is basically honey that's been capped with wax. You can see that they're working on finishing it here. Watch, you've got one close to you. They're working on finishing it there, and once they get it finished, they'll leave that frame. You can see that side's entirely done. So at the end of this season, as we get ready to put the bees to rest for the fall and the winter, we'll go ahead and pull this box. We'll cut all of that wax or comb off of the top of it, basically with a hot knife. You just hot knife it down. It'll open up that comb, and you'll put it in an extruder, and it'll spin, and it will take all that honey right out of there.
Hold that up for a second.
So that's how you do it. Okay, so now we're going to go through and just try to get an idea of how many of these frames are not capped. Okay, so we know the end one is not. So we're going to work our way in just to see what this next one in looks like, because remember, they're working in the next box, and we want them to finish this one before, and there's a lot of bees in here. So this is the second one in. There's 10 frames in a box, and you can see where they've just started capping this, because it does take time for them to get the moisture content right.
Oh yeah.
But the one that's closer to the center, which is this side of the frame, you can see how much more of that is done. It's already been about 1/4 or 1/3 done, and they'll work their way from the center to the end. And they're working on that now, to getting the moisture content correct. So the next frame in, which is this one, and I can see most of it. So this is the next frame in. Remember, this is the outer facing side. About 1/3 of that one's done. And the inner facing side is almost 100% complete.
Hold that still for a second.
So that's almost 100% complete. So a good solid box of medium frames, like this, 10 medium frames, you probably get about 40 pounds of honey. We have a little bit of the season is left yet before we're going to start talking about extracting honey and doing the harvest. But we certainly should get some honey out of this box this year. So you get an idea. I'm going to work from the other side because it's exactly in reverse order. And here I can see the bees working very vigorously here inside. If you can get a chance to bring the camera in, you'll see it if you come here, not in front, but on the side. You'll see there's very few bees here. But if you get a chance and you can look on this side of the box or the hive, you can see how many more bees are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most of the bees are on this side of it working. And there's very few bees down in here. You can see them in between. So knowing that, because when you pull these frames out, you bother the bees and you dislocate them. Some of them you kill in just the process. So I'm actually not going to pull those out. I'm going to leave those in there just so that they can continue to work. And I'm going to put the other hive box back on so that they can continue to fill that. I think we've seen what we want to see. And we're not going to go down in and search and look for the queen for fear that we would injure the queen or do something. The hives, as you can see from the front, both hives are very strong. This one is obviously our strongest one, and we haven't had to requeen this one this year. But we're just going to go with what we have right now, and we'll check them again in about a week. and see how it goes. But thanks for watching Mike's Backyard Bees. Thank you to my wife Mary Kay, who's the videographer for the whole event. Hasn't been stung yet, and we will see you in a week.